Hello and welcome to our family workshop. In this video, we are focusing upon the technique of stack cutting. This is a technique that we use on a regular basis, and we use it for several different reasons. So in this video, we're going to share how we do it and why we do it and why we would suggest for you to consider using this technique in your own scroll sawing. In this first example then, we have stuck together 3 individual pieces of wood using our Starbond superglue. So we add a dot of superglue into the 4 corners of the piece of wood, mark out the design, and then cut it out on the scroll saw. Now the advantage of doing this is it allows us to cut out 3 individual pieces at the same time. When it comes to stack cutting, the more pieces of wood you stack, the more pieces you cut out at the same time. The advantage of this is to be more productive in your scroll sawing work, but remember, there is a limit to this because the more layers that you add to the stack, the thicker the piece that you are cutting out becomes. In our first example, we need 3 separate pieces to make up the one design. Moving on to our second design, we have 2 pieces of wood stuck together for the stack, and this will allow us to make 2 separate projects when we finish cutting them out on our scroll saw. The process stays the same. We prepare the design onto the wood itself. We use the super glue to stick the different layers together, drill the holes using a pillar drill, the belt sander then to flatten everything out on the back, making the scroll sawing easier, and then proceed to do our pierce work first of all and cut the outline of the project out. One thing this also allows us as well, you can stack cut with 2 different colors. So that means afterwards you can stick the 2 contrasting colors together to create extra interest in the design that you are making. So all of these products have been made using stack cutting as a method. It allows us to be more productive and to get more benefits out of a single cut that we do. Now moving on to another method for how we use stack cutting, and the process is the same where we super glue the different layers together. There are other methods you can use and we will come on to that later in the video, but in this example we are cutting out our eagle and we have 3 different colored pieces of wood to create interest and extra character in the design itself. So what you do, you stick your layers together, you then scroll saw out the design. Later on, we will then use the contrasting colors and stick them back together to create more interest in the individual design. So using our example, you can see us cutting out of the eagle, go across to a backing board, and use once again our Starbond super glue and stick together different parts of the design, creating a more interesting and vibrant image. So that's another method that you can use stack cutting for, is to create extra interest in the design by having contrasting colors put together. Moving on to our next example, and we are using line art as a technique to cut out, but also on this example you can see a different method for how we have stuck the layers together. We've actually drilled a hole in the top layer and screwed the 2 layers together. Once again, this allows us to produce more than one example at a time, but it's a different method than you could consider for sticking your 2 levels of your stack together. Our preferred method is super glue, sticking those layers together, but you choose the method that suits you best. On to our next example, and this is highlighting how stack cutting really helps with the production. So in this example, we have a lot of line art, a lot of pierce work to be done. And if we were cutting out one of these at a time, it really would be a labor intensive process. But by using stack cutting as a method, we can finish off with 3 individual projects as opposed to just having that one cutout when we finished. This means that more more complex designs like this are a little bit more realistic and a little bit more economical, making them more viable as products to then go on and sell. It also allows us to make separate projects, separate ideas. We managed to make a box for a desk tidy, a candle holder, and a money box as well. For our Christmas decorations, stack cutting is definitely a method that is at the forefront of what we do. So you can see we've stacked 4 layers together. You can cut the internal aspect of the design first of all, and then cut the outline. But what we actually do from here, we create a 3-dimensional style decoration. So we've cut the outline, done all of that basic profile, but then we can cut half in half and then stick those different parts of the design back together to create a different concept where we have a 3-dimensional style decoration. So it's another method then we use when it comes to stack cutting, is to add a 3-dimensional element to the design, creating a unique idea. Using our fish design, we can highlight 2 examples that we've discussed previously. So you have that technique of stack cutting and then using the line art to cut out several fridge magnets at the same time. Following on from this, we then have our contrasting colors style idea, and you can cut out several layers at the same time, stick them together, and create a colorful and interesting image. So 2 methods highlighted once again that we use stack cutting for. The one thing worth noting with this, because you're cutting out those 4 contrasting colored pieces, or however many you are using, at the end of your cutting, you can make 4 separate items using this technique. On to our final demonstration, and in this one we are showing how the contrasting colors is one of the real strengths of doing stack cutting. So it's that method again of sticking 4 layers together with 4 little spots of super glue in each corner. We then cut out the project and then stick on a backing board those contrasting colors in the design, creating a simple and effective finished product. So there you go, that is the approach that we take when it comes to stack cutting. Those are the methods that we suggest and use ourselves. Let us know in the comment sections if you've got any questions, if you need any help when it comes to stack cutting, you want any advice on the methods that we've introduced. If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you know when we upload another video. And as always, thank you again for watching.